Welcome to Deer Estate. In today's virtual field trip, we're going to be focusing on owls and the pellets they leave behind. In the world, there are roughly 225 species of owls, but in South Florida, there are 6 that we can readily find. Now, these birds are mostly nocturnal, but there are a few species that will be active during the day. As they move around looking for prey, they're going to focus mostly on other birds, rodents, snakes, sometimes fish, and even frogs. Owls are raptors, which means that they hunt with their feet. Now, after they capture something with their talons, they'll typically swallow it whole. If it's too large, they'll actually break it into smaller pieces and swallow it bit by bit. Now, for those owls that actually swallow their prey whole, they're actually going to end up creating a pellet. And what that is the remains of the animal that were too difficult to digest. Things like hair, nails, teeth, and bones. Those parts are going to be split apart from the rest of the animal in the muscular stomach. And then it's going to be spit back out like a hairball, just like a cat would do. The first step is to unravel your pellet. These are basically going to be just a large, compact ball of fur, which inside will have many different bones. So as we're dissecting these, we want to make sure that we're putting the bones off to one side. That way we can probably identify what animal it was that this owl has eaten. Now, after unraveling your pellet, you're going to want to go ahead and grab it with both your hands and just give it a twist. This is going to open it and expose the different bones that are found inside. As we remove these bones, we want to make sure that we're putting them off to the side and make a nice neat pile. That way we can go back later and use our identification chart to identify which animal was eaten by this bird. After a few minutes of working, you can see how many bones we've been able to remove. Now, looking through it, a lot of them are tricky to identify, and we'll be able to use our anatomy sheet in just a second. But some of the more obvious bones that are sitting here include the skull, which we have right here. Now, it's easily identifiable because of the fact that it actually has the 2 front teeth still in place. We can also see a lower jaw. These are also easily identifiable because of the teeth. We can actually see the molars down here and the front tooth right here, which is also able to be removed. So if we gently just pull on it, we can take out the entire tooth. Now, for the other bones, we're going to go ahead and grab our anatomy sheet and we're going to try and match them up to try and identify what these other bones would have been. After dissecting your pellet, you're going to be able to take these bones and match them up with your anatomy sheet here. There's 4 different options that we have, and as we go through it, we'll start with the skull. Now, this one matches the rodent skull because of the fact that it has the 2 front teeth which are sticking out, which is very different from the shrew and the mole, and definitely different from the bird because birds do not have teeth. Now, as we continue going, we're actually able to match our bottom jaw perfectly right here, which you can see is different from the shrew, the mole. And as we keep going, we can find other parts. Things like the pelvic bone, which we see here, and some other bones that will also be popping up. After you've completed your owl pellet, there still may be some bones that you have a hard time identifying. Things like these little thin ones. So by using our key on the back of our anatomy sheet, we're going to be able to identify basically everything that we can see. So this little bone actually matches up perfectly with the ribs. So we can actually line it up here, and by using the number key, we can actually try and figure out where these bones fall into place. So 13 would be the 13 ribs that we'd have here. Things like the skull, which would be found right there, which would be up in number 4. So skull right there. We can see how the bottom jaw is located here, which would actually be labeled as mandible number 1. So you'll be able to put together this entire skeleton and identify all of the different parts of the body. We hope you've enjoyed today's virtual field trip to Deering Estate. If you recreate this activity at home, please be sure to tag us on social media at Discover Deering and Deering Estate. See you next time.